Look at your life today. Are you where you want to be? Do you have the success, the relationships, the freedom you've always dreamed of, if not listen closely? This isn't about luck. It's not about talent. It's not about who you know. It's about a single fundamental truth. Most people ignore the best way to predict your future is to create it. But here's the problem. Most people live their lives waiting. Waiting for motivation. Waiting for the right opportunity. Waiting for someone to show them the way. But what if I told you that everything you need to become your best self is already within you? You don't need permission, luck, or perfect circumstances. You just need the right mindset, the right habits, and the discipline to take action. In the next 60 minutes, I'm going to give you the exact next steps to design, build, and embody the best version of yourself, mentally, physically, and emotionally. This isn't just theory. It's a blueprint for a life of design, not chance. It's a guide to becoming a master of your own destiny. So if you're tired of feeling stuck, if you're ready to stop making excuses, and if you're serious about transforming your life, stay with me. Because your future isn't out there somewhere. It's waiting for you to create it. Let's begin. My friends, if there is one single foundational truth I have learned from my journey and from the wisdom of my mentors, it is this: the path to having what you want begins not with action, but with a deep internal shift. Most people try to change their life by changing their habits. They say, I'm going to work out more, or I'm going to save more money. And that's a good intention, but it's often not enough. You see, every decision you make, every habit you build, and every action you take is driven by one powerful, invisible force: your self-identity. Your identity is who you believe you are. It's the silent operating system running in the background of your mind. If you see yourself as lazy, undisciplined, or incapable, your actions will always align with that belief. No matter how much willpower you muster, your subconscious mind will fight to keep your actions consistent with your identity. But if you reprogram your mind to see yourself as strong, disciplined, and capable of success, your entire life will change. This is the profound foundational work that must be done before all else. Everything we will discuss, from self-leadership to building habits, stems from this single point of origin. You might be thinking, but I am who I am. My identity is fixed. I am here to tell you that this is one of the most dangerous and limiting beliefs you can hold. Science has proven that the brain is neuroplastic, meaning it can be reshaped and rewired. You are not a prisoner of your past experiences or the labels you've given yourself. The thoughts you repeat, the words you tell yourself, and the beliefs you reinforce daily all create neural pathways that become your reality. It's like walking a path through a field. The more you walk that path, the deeper the grooves get until it becomes a permanent trail. Your thoughts are those footsteps. The more you think a certain way, the more ingrained that belief becomes. The first step in creating your best self is to stop letting outdated beliefs dictate your future. Instead, you must become the architect of your own identity. You must take control and define who you want to be. How do you do this? You start with a new identity statement. This is not a goal. It's a declaration of who you are becoming. It's a powerful tool for self-reprogramming. Instead of saying, I'm bad at discipline, say, I am becoming more disciplined every day. Instead of, I'm not a morning person, say, I wake up early because I am in control of my time. The way you speak to yourself matters. Your words are not just sounds. They are building blocks of your reality. When you tell yourself something repeatedly, your brain starts to believe it, even if it's a lie at first. The more you say it, the more you act on it, the more it becomes the truth. This is the power behind affirmations and visualization. They are not just feel-good exercises. They are strategic tools for reprogramming your subconscious mind. Every day, take a few moments to speak and visualize the identity you want to embody. If you want to be more confident, visualize yourself walking into a room with presence, speaking with clarity, and owning your space. See yourself in that future state, and your brain will begin to accept it as a possibility. But here's the most important part. Identity is not just about thoughts. It's about action. Your brain believes what you repeatedly do. This is the key that unlocks lasting change. Most people try to change their life by forcing themselves into new habits with sheer willpower alone. They try to eat healthy, try to work harder, try to get in shape. But willpower is limited and unsustainable. Real lasting transformation happens when you shift your identity first. Instead of trying to do a new habit, you focus on becoming the kind of person who has that habit. Instead of trying to eat healthy, become a healthy person. Instead of trying to work harder, become a disciplined individual. Once your identity shifts, the right actions follow effortlessly. When you identify as a healthy person, you don't have to force yourself to eat vegetables. You naturally crave them because that's what a healthy person does. When you identify as a disciplined person, you don't need willpower to wake up early. It becomes a natural extension of who you are. The most powerful way to cement this change is through small, consistent actions that prove your new identity to yourself. Set a tiny, non-negotiable daily habit. Something so small that it's impossible to fail. Wake up 5 minutes earlier. Read 1 page of a book. Do 5 minutes of exercise. These small actions send a powerful signal to your brain. This is who I am now. Over time, they compound into massive transformation. If you don't take control of your identity, it will be shaped by external forces. Society will tell you who you are. Your past experiences will whisper limitations into your ear. The opinions of others will create a cage for your potential. But you have the power to rewrite your story. You are not defined by your past. You are defined by what you choose to do next. Right now, take a moment. Write down your new identity statement, a declaration of who you are becoming. Read it every morning and act in alignment with it daily. The more you reinforce your identity through thought and action, the faster it becomes your reality. Your mind is the foundation of everything. Reprogram it, and your best self will follow. My friends, if you were with me for our first conversation, you have begun the foundational work. You have started to reprogram your mind and define a new powerful identity for yourself. You are no longer just a person with a wish. You are an architect of your own character. But a blueprint is not a building, and an identity is not a destiny. An identity, no matter how powerful, is simply a new foundation. It requires a leader to build upon it. And the most important person you will ever have to lead is yourself. Leadership is often misunderstood. Most people think of it as a position of authority, a role reserved for CEOs, managers, or public figures. They believe it's about giving orders, commanding armies, and having a title. But real leadership, my friends, begins with a far more profound and personal act: mastering yourself. Before you ever attempt to lead others, you must first learn to lead yourself with discipline, clarity, and purpose. The strongest leaders are not those who command, but those who inspire through their actions. Their followers don't listen to their words, they watch their habits. If you want to create your best self, you must first learn to be your own leader. Self-leadership means taking full responsibility for your life. It means eliminating excuses, refusing to blame circumstances, and stepping up to take control of your thoughts, actions, and habits. Many people drift through life waiting for someone to push them forward. They wait for a mentor to appear, for a lucky break, for a sudden burst of motivation. They live with the silent belief that someone is coming to save them. Let me tell you a difficult but essential truth: no one is coming to save you. The moment you decide to be your own leader is the moment your transformation begins. The difference between those who achieve success and those who remain stuck is not talent, luck, or intelligence. It's self-discipline, the ability to do what needs to be done even when you don't feel like doing it. It's the simple act of keeping the promises you make to yourself. Every time you follow through on a commitment to yourself, you build self-trust. This is the most valuable currency you will ever possess. It's an internal belief that you are reliable, capable, and worthy of your own effort. But every time you break a promise to yourself, you reinforce the belief that you are unreliable. This is why most people struggle. They set goals, fail to follow through, and subconsciously teach themselves that they are incapable of change. The key to developing self-leadership is creating non-negotiable standards. You must define the values that will guide your decisions no matter how difficult or inconvenient they become. If you decide that integrity is a core value, you must hold yourself accountable to it even when no one is watching. If discipline is a value, you must act in alignment with it every single day, not just when motivation strikes. The biggest mistake people make is relying on willpower alone. Willpower is limited and unpredictable. It's a finite resource that gets exhausted over time. Think of it like a muscle. You can only use it for so long before it fatigues. But systems and identity-based decisions create lasting transformation. Instead of saying, I will try to be disciplined, say, I am a disciplined person. Instead of forcing yourself to work when you feel like procrastinating, design an environment where distractions are eliminated and focus is automatic. This is the art of self-leadership. You don't fight your own nature. You engineer your reality to support your goals. One of the most powerful ways to cultivate self-leadership is through strategic focus. We often fall into the trap of busyness of working hard without working smart. This is where the 80/20 rule comes in, a principle that states that 20% of your actions create 80% of your results. Most people waste their time and energy on low-value activities, scrolling social media, binge-watching content, or engaging in meaningless conversations. To become your best self, you must identify the 20% of actions that generate the most growth. This might be reading, exercising, building a skill, or deep work on a meaningful project. The most successful people don't do more. They do what matters most with absolute focus. Self-leadership is about setting priorities and protecting your time like it's your most valuable asset, because it is. Another key to self-leadership is mastering your emotional control. Life will throw obstacles at you: stress, setbacks, criticism, and failures. But your ability to manage your emotions determines how successful you become. Most people react impulsively, letting anger, frustration, or fear dictate their choices. True self-leadership means recognizing your emotions without letting them control you. When you feel overwhelmed, instead of reacting, take a step back, breathe, and ask yourself, what would the best version of me do in this situation? By responding with clarity rather than emotion, you gain control over your life. You become the master of your internal world rather than a slave to your feelings. At the core of self-leadership is one simple yet profound truth: you must become your own role model. If you were watching a version of yourself as a character in a movie, would you be inspired by their actions, mindset, and discipline? Would you admire the choices they make? If the answer is no, my friends, it's time to rewrite the script. Stop waiting for external motivation and start leading yourself with unshakable determination. When you embody the qualities you admire in others — discipline, confidence, integrity, resilience — you won't need outside validation. You will have built a version of yourself that you respect. Starting today, take full ownership of your growth. Define your values, eliminate distractions, and commit to high-impact habits. When challenges arise, don't look for an excuse, look for a way forward. When you make self-leadership a daily practice, you won't just become better. You will become unstoppable. My friends, we've already established the foundation of a great life. You've started to reprogram your mind and build a new, powerful identity. You are learning the art of self-leadership, mastering your internal world. But now we must address the bridge between your inner work and your outer results. We must talk about the very mechanics of success itself. Most people believe success is a mystery. They think it's reserved for the lucky, the gifted, or the chosen few. They look at someone who has achieved great things and assume it was effortless. They believe success is a matter of magic, of being in the right place at the right time. But, my friends, is a dangerous and limiting belief. The truth is, success is not a mystery. It follows a predictable pattern. It is governed by a principle as old as time, the law of averages. This principle dictates that if you do something often enough, a ratio of success will begin to appear. It governs every area of life, whether in business, sports, relationships, or personal growth. It states that success is in large part a numbers game. The more you try, the more opportunities you create, and the more you refine your approach, the higher your chances of winning. Most people fail not because they lack potential, but because they give up too soon. They attempt something a few times, face a bit of rejection or failure, and assume they aren't cut out for it. They take a no as a verdict on their worth, but those who succeed know that failure is not an endpoint. It's part of the process. It's simply a data point in the numbers game. When you try to sell a product, launch an idea, or even ask someone out on a date, your first few attempts may fail. But if you persist, your chances of success improve. The biggest mistake people make is assuming rejection is personal. It's not. Rejection is simply feedback. Every no tells you something you can use to get to a yes. Was your pitch unclear? Was your timing off? Did you approach the wrong person? Once you embrace this reality, you stop fearing failure and start using it as a stepping stone toward growth. Think of it like a salesman. A beginner might talk to 10 potential clients and make only one sale. That's a 1 in 10 ratio. They could get discouraged and quit. Or they could talk to another 10 people and get another sale. With practice, their ratio might improve to 2 in 10, then 3 in 10 as their skills sharpen. The salesman who succeeds isn't the one who never gets a no. It's the one who keeps asking despite the no's and learns from each one. Success at its core is about volume and consistency. The people who achieve the most are not necessarily those who make perfect decisions, but those who make more attempts. They take more shots, have more conversations, produce more work, and put themselves in situations where success becomes inevitable. The average person hesitates, overthinks, and delays action because they are afraid of looking foolish or making mistakes. They wait for the perfect moment that never comes. But every successful person started as a beginner, making countless mistakes before mastering their craft. They didn't wait. They created opportunities by taking action over and over again. If you want to improve your success rate, you must increase your effort. If you're getting rejected 10 times, try 100 times. If your skills aren't yielding results, practice more. The law of averages rewards those who stay in the game long enough for their efforts to compound. There is another side to this principle. Failure is predictable, but so is success. If you understand that success is built on patterns, you can work smarter by analyzing your results. Keep track of what works and what doesn't. Did you communicate differently? Did you put in more effort? Did you adjust your strategy? The most successful people are not just those who work the hardest, but those who learn the fastest. They take failures as feedback, tweak their approach, and improve their odds over time. The law of averages also explains why some people seem to get all the opportunities while others struggle. The reality is, they are simply putting themselves in more situations where opportunities can occur. If an entrepreneur launches one business and it fails, they may feel discouraged. But if they launch 5 different businesses, one is likely to succeed. The same logic applies to relationships, creativity, and personal growth. The more you put yourself out there, the greater your chances of finding success. Most people underestimate the sheer volume of effort required to break through mediocrity. They try something a few times, get discouraged, and quit, never realizing that success was just a few more attempts away. If you truly understood that every rejection brings you closer to success, would you let failure stop you? Would you let setbacks define you? Or would you keep pushing forward knowing that success is inevitable if you stay in the game long enough? The only real failure is quitting too soon. Everything else is just part of the process. So starting today, reframe your failures as stepping stones. Track your progress. Study your patterns. And improve your ratio through repetition. If you want better results, take more action. If you're not seeing success yet, double or triple your efforts. The law of averages works in your favor if you use it correctly. Stop waiting. Stop hesitating. Start increasing your efforts. When you play the numbers game long enough, success is no longer a matter of if, it becomes a matter of when. My friends, you have now learned that success is a numbers game. You have the knowledge and the tools, but What if there's even more to discover if you're finding this guide valuable and are serious about building a life of purpose and discipline? I invite you to subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications. This is where we break down the timeless wisdom of Jim Rohn and other great thinkers to help you design the life you've always wanted. Don't miss out on what's coming next. My friends, we have journeyed from the internal to the external. We began by reprogramming our minds, building a new identity. We then learned the art of self-leadership, mastering our internal world. We even discussed the law of averages, understanding that success is a numbers game governed by predictable patterns. Now we must talk about the one force that is constantly shaping you, often without your permission. It is the invisible hand that pulls you toward your goals or away from them. I'm talking about your environment. Most people assume success is purely about discipline and motivation. They believe that if you just have enough willpower, you can overcome any obstacle. But this is a dangerous and naive assumption. The reality is your surroundings play a massive and often overlooked role in determining your habits, your mindset, and your overall growth. If you struggle with productivity, consistency, or focus, the first thing to examine is not your willpower, but your environment. Your environment is made up of two main things: the people you associate with and the physical spaces you inhabit. Both are silently influencing you every single day. Let's start with people. You are a social creature. You tend to mirror the habits of those around you. This is a fundamental law of human behavior. If you spend time with people who lack ambition, complain about their problems, and avoid personal growth, you will naturally absorb their mindset. Their cynicism will become your cynicism. Their excuses will become your excuses. On the other hand, if you surround yourself with disciplined, motivated, and success-driven individuals, their habits will rub off on you. Their ambition will become contagious. Their resilience will inspire you. This is famously known as the 5-person rule. You become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If you want to transform your life, you must be intentional about your circle. Ask yourself, are the people around me inspiring me to be better? Or are they keeping me stuck? If they are not helping you grow, it's time to limit their influence and seek out those who push you toward your highest potential. This doesn't mean you should abandon your friends, but it does mean you must consciously seek out new associations that align with the person you want to become. It means joining a mastermind group, finding a mentor, or simply spending more time with people who challenge your thinking and celebrate your growth. Your circle determines your trajectory. Choose wisely. Your physical space also plays a crucial role in shaping your success. A cluttered, chaotic environment leads to a cluttered, chaotic mind. If your workspace is filled with distractions, you will struggle to focus. If your home encourages laziness and mindless entertainment, you will naturally fall into unproductive habits. High performers design their environment with intention. They set up their spaces to make good habits easy and bad habits difficult. If you want to read more, place books in visible areas where you can easily pick them up. If you want to eat healthier, remove junk food from your house and stock your kitchen with nutritious options. If you want to be more productive, eliminate unnecessary distractions and create a dedicated workspace that signals to your brain that it's time to work. Small changes in your environment lead to big changes in your behavior over time. You are not just a product of your decisions. You are a product of the choices your environment makes easy for you. In today's age, your digital environment is just as important as your physical surroundings. The content you consume daily influences your thoughts, emotions, and actions. If you spend hours scrolling through social media, comparing yourself to others, and consuming negative news, your mindset will be affected. You are feeding your mind a steady diet of comparison and despair. On the other hand, if you deliberately curate your digital space, following educational content, listening to inspiring podcasts, and engaging in meaningful conversations, you will start feeding your mind with the right inputs. The key is to be intentional about what you expose yourself to. If you want to develop a success-oriented mindset, immerse yourself in content that aligns with that goal. Unfollow the noise. Seek out wisdom. This is not about escaping reality. It's about choosing the reality you want to build. The most successful people in the world don't rely on motivation alone. They engineer their environment to support their goals so that success becomes automatic. They structure their days in a way that minimizes distractions and maximizes focus. They carefully choose the people they associate with, ensuring that they are constantly challenged to grow. They optimize their workspace to promote creativity and efficiency. They create an online experience that fuels their mind rather than drains their energy. The good news is that anyone can do the same. You don't need unlimited willpower or self-discipline to transform your life. You just need to set up your environment so that the right choices become the default. If you are serious about creating your best self, start by taking control of your surroundings. Remove anything that is holding you back, whether it's toxic relationships, a distracting workspace, unhealthy foods, or time-wasting digital habits. Replace them with elements that inspire, energize, and align with your vision of success. The more intentional you become about your environment, the less you will need to rely on discipline to make the right choices. Your surroundings will do the heavy lifting for you. When your environment is designed for growth, success stops feeling like an uphill battle and starts becoming your natural state. My friends, we have now journeyed from the invisible to the visible. We have reprogrammed our minds, learned to lead ourselves from within, and understood that success is a numbers game governed by the law of averages. We have even taken control of our surroundings by designing an environment for success. But now we must address the two most precious and most often wasted currencies in the human experience. I'm talking about time and energy. Time is the one resource you can never get back. Once it's gone forever. And energy is the force that determines how effectively you use that time. Most people waste both without even realizing it, trapped in cycles of procrastination, exhaustion, and inefficient work. They complain about never having enough time, but the truth is it's not a time problem. It's a priority and energy problem. The most successful people in the world don't have more hours in the day. They simply manage their time and energy better through intentional, disciplined rituals. If you want to create your best self, you must learn to master both. The first step to taking control of your time is understanding where it's actually going. Many people think they are busy, but in reality, they are just distracted. They spend hours scrolling through their phones, engaging in pointless conversations, or multitasking between tasks without accomplishing anything meaningful. If you don't track your time, you will always feel like you don't have enough of it. I want you to perform a simple exercise for just 1 week. Keep a log of how you spend your time. Be brutally honest. Track every hour. And at the end of the week, I promise you will be shocked at how much time is being invested in things that bring you no real value. Time is either invested in your future or wasted on things that bring you no real return. The difference between successful and average people is how they allocate their time toward high-impact activities, the habits and tasks that generate the most growth. One of the most powerful ways to structure your day effectively is through rituals. Morning and nighttime routines set the tone for everything in between. High achievers don't leave their mornings to chance. They design them strategically to optimize their focus, energy, and productivity. The first hour of your day determines the rest of your day. If you wake up and immediately start scrolling social media or hitting snooze, your mind begins the day in a reactive state. You are already behind. But if you begin with a structured morning ritual, exercising, reading, journaling, or setting intentions, you take control of your mindset before the world has a chance to distract you. The best morning routines don't have to be long. They just have to be consistent. Even a 15-minute ritual that includes movement, reflection, and goal setting can transform your mental state. Just as mornings set the stage for success, nighttime rituals determine the quality of your recovery. Many people sabotage themselves by scrolling through their phones late at night, binge-watching shows, or staying up past their ideal sleep time. Sleep is not just about resting, It is about rebuilding your brain and body for the next day. A well-designed nighttime routine helps you wind down, lower stress, and prepare for a productive tomorrow. People who fail to manage their nights wake up groggy, unmotivated, and unprepared for the challenges ahead. Success begins the night before. Time management is not just about routines, it's also about eliminating distractions and optimizing deep work. Most people mistake being busy for being productive, but in reality, deep focus is the secret weapon of high performers. Instead of working harder, they work smarter by creating distraction-free time blocks for important tasks. They don't multitask or let their day be controlled by notifications, emails, and constant interruptions. The ability to focus on a single task for an extended period without distraction is becoming rare, but it is one of the most powerful skills you can develop. When you work with deep concentration, you can accomplish twice as much in half the time. This is the difference between a person who works 8 hours and a person who works 8 hours with focus. The person with focus will always win. Equally important to managing time is managing your energy levels. No matter how perfectly you plan your day, if your energy is low, you won't execute at your best. Productivity is not just about scheduling tasks. It's about aligning them with your natural energy cycles. Your body follows an internal rhythm, meaning there are times of the day when you are naturally more focused, creative, or physically energized. Successful people align their most important work with their peak energy periods. Instead of forcing yourself to do deep work when you're exhausted, schedule your most demanding tasks when your energy is highest. Equally important is recovery. Taking intentional breaks, fueling your body with the right foods, and getting enough movement are essential to maintaining high performance throughout the day. The reason most people struggle with consistency is that they rely on motivation, which is unpredictable. High achievers design systems that make success automatic. They structure their days in a way that removes decision fatigue so they don't waste energy thinking about what to do next. If you always have to decide whether to work out, read, or focus, you will eventually choose the easier option. But if these habits are built into your daily rituals, they happen effortlessly. This is why structured routines remove the need for willpower. They create a flow where the right actions become second nature. To master your time and energy, you must first audit your current habits. If your daily actions don't align with the future you want, change them. Design a morning ritual that primes you for success. Create a nighttime routine that enhances recovery. And structure your work around deep focus sessions. Stop wasting time on meaningless activities and start optimizing for high-impact tasks. When you take control of your time and energy, you take control of your life. Your success is simply a reflection of how well you manage both. My friends, we have traveled far on this journey. You've started to reprogram your mind and build a new identity. You've learned the art of self-leadership and the power of the law of averages. You have committed to designing your environment for success and have begun mastering your time and energy. But now we must address the single most powerful force that determines your future. It's not a grand gesture or a sudden breakthrough. It's the quiet, often invisible accumulation of your daily actions. I'm talking about your habits. Your life is a direct reflection of your habits. Every result you experience, your health, your wealth, your relationships, and your mindset can be traced back to the small, repeated actions you take every day. The problem is that most people focus on big, dramatic changes, hoping for overnight success. They want to lose 50 pounds in a month. They want to become a millionaire in a year. They want to change their entire life in a week. But the reality is, lasting transformation comes from small, consistent improvements over time. It's the compound effect in action. Think of it like a snowball rolling down a hill. In the beginning, it's tiny and the progress is almost imperceptible. But as it rolls, it picks up more snow and its size and speed increase exponentially. Your habits are the same way. A tiny habit, repeated daily, can lead to a monumental result over time. The biggest reason why people struggle to change is that they approach habits the wrong way. They rely on motivation, which is inconsistent, and they set goals that are too big and unrealistic to sustain. They try to overhaul their entire life in a day only to burn out and revert to their old ways. True transformation doesn't come from setting impossible goals. It comes from mastering small, powerful habits that compound over time. This is where the concept of keystone habits comes in. A keystone habit is one small habit that, when developed, has a positive ripple effect on other areas of your life without extra effort. Instead of trying to change everything at once, focusing on just one keystone habit can trigger multiple positive behaviors. For example, regular exercise is a keystone habit. When you commit to working out consistently, you naturally start eating healthier, sleeping better, and feeling more confident. You don't have to force those changes. They become a natural consequence of your core habit. Another example is journaling daily. When you write down your thoughts, you develop mental clarity, emotional control, and a sense of direction, which impacts your overall decision-making. The key is to find the keystone habit that has the greatest impact on your life and make it the foundation of your daily routine. Most people fail to build habits because they make the process too difficult from the start. They decide to work out, but commit to an intense 60-minute workout every day only to give up after a week. They want to read more, but aim for an entire book in a few days only to feel overwhelmed. The secret to habit building is starting small. So small that it's impossible to fail. This is known as the 2-minute rule. The idea is simple: shrink the habit down to something so easy that it requires no effort or motivation to complete. Instead of committing to an hour at the gym, start with just 5 push-ups. Instead of reading for an hour, read 1 page. Instead of meditating for 20 minutes, start with 1 deep breath. The goal is not the task itself, but the act of showing up consistently. The purpose of the 2-minute rule is to create a pattern of success. Once the habit is built, it naturally grows on its own. It's easier to add minutes to a workout you've already started than to force yourself to start a long one from scratch. Another powerful principle in habit formation is habit stacking. This method involves attaching a new habit to an existing one, making it easier to remember and integrate into your routine. For example, if you already drink coffee every morning, you can attach a new habit of reading 1 page of a book before drinking it. If you brush your teeth every night, you can attach a habit of writing down 3 things you're grateful for afterward. When a habit is linked to an existing behavior, it becomes effortless to repeat. But building habits is not just about starting. It's about sticking with them long enough for them to become part of your identity. This is why tracking progress is essential. When you visually see the consistency of your habits, you create positive reinforcement. A simple habit tracker where you mark off each day you successfully complete your habit can create a powerful psychological effect. The longer you maintain a streak, the harder it becomes to break. The final key to building bulletproof habits is understanding the role of identity in behavior change. Most people try to build habits by focusing on what they want to do. But the most effective way to create lasting change is to focus on who you want to become. Instead of setting a goal to run 3 times a week, shift your mindset to becoming a runner. Instead of trying to eat healthy, start identifying as someone who prioritizes nutrition. When you associate your habits with your identity, they stop feeling like tasks and start feeling like natural extensions of who you are. The question you should ask yourself is not, what habit should I build, but what kind of person do I want to become? Once you have that answer, build habits that align with that identity. The biggest mistake people make is quitting after missing a day. They assume that skipping 1 workout or forgetting to read for a day means they have failed. But missing once is not failure. Giving up is the true failure. The secret to mastering habits is simple: never miss twice. If you want to transform your life, forget about overnight success and focus on the small daily actions that lead to massive results over time. Find your keystone habit. Start ridiculously small. Stack habits together. Track your progress. And align your actions with your identity. Over time, these small habits will shape you into a stronger, smarter, more disciplined version of yourself. The key to success is not one massive breakthrough. It's thousands of tiny wins stacked on top of each other. My friends, we have now arrived at the point of truth. We have reprogrammed our minds, learned to lead ourselves from within, and understood that success is a numbers game governed by the law of averages. You've committed to designing your environment and are now a master of your time and energy. You're building bulletproof habits with the compound effect in mind. But all of these fundamentals, all of this powerful preparation, is a beautiful, detailed plan without a single powerful act. I'm talking about execution. Ideas are worthless without execution. No matter how great your vision is, no matter how detailed your plans are, they mean nothing if they remain trapped in your mind. The world is full of brilliant people with notebooks full of brilliant ideas, but their lives never change. Why? Because they are masters of intention and slaves to inaction. The difference between successful people and those who stay stuck is not intelligence, talent, or luck. It is the simple yet profound ability to take action consistently. The world is full of people with good intentions who never follow through. They wait for the perfect moment. They overanalyze every detail. They let fear hold them back. But the truth is, execution is what separates the dreamers from the achievers. Most people fail to take action not because they don't know what to do, but because they overcomplicate the process. They believe they need to have everything figured out before they start. They fall into a trap I call analysis paralysis. They keep researching. They keep planning. They keep waiting for the perfect conditions, but those conditions never come. The market is never perfect. The funding is never quite enough. The timing is never just right. And so they stay stuck moving in circles, never getting anywhere. High achievers operate differently. They understand that imperfect action beats perfect inaction every single time. They take the first step even when they don't have all the answers. They trust that clarity will come through action. Progress is made through momentum, and momentum is only created by moving forward, not by waiting. The moment you take that first imperfect step, you break the cycle of stagnation. You signal to your brain and to the universe that you are serious. You are a person who does. One of the biggest traps people fall into is relying on motivation to take action. They wait until they feel inspired. But motivation is a temporary and unreliable emotion. It comes and goes based on mood, circumstances, and energy levels. If you only work when you feel like it, you will never accomplish anything meaningful. Discipline, not motivation, is the true driver of success. The most effective way to ensure execution is to remove the need for decision-making. When you have to decide whether to work on your goal every day, you create mental resistance. But if you turn execution into a habit, it becomes automatic. The secret is to make action non-negotiable. Just like brushing your teeth or eating meals, when something becomes a part of your daily routine, you stop questioning it. You just do it. Another powerful strategy to improve execution is the 5-second rule. The concept is simple. When you feel hesitation before taking action, count down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then move. The reason this works is that hesitation triggers self-doubt, and the longer you wait, the more your brain will create excuses. By acting before your mind can talk you out of it, you override fear and procrastination. The hardest part of any task is starting. Once you begin, momentum takes over and finishing becomes much easier. Procrastination is another major barrier to execution, and the best way to defeat it is by breaking big tasks into micro actions. Most people delay action because their goals feel overwhelming. Writing a book, starting a business, or getting in shape seems like a massive challenge, so they never start. But when you break these goals into small, manageable steps, action becomes easier. Instead of saying, I need to write a book, commit to writing 1 paragraph today. Instead, you need to get in shape, start with a 10-minute workout. Success is built on small daily wins that add up over time. Execution also requires accountability. When you keep your goals to yourself, it's easy to make excuses. But when you make a public commitment, track your progress, or involve others in your journey, you create pressure to follow through. This is why athletes, entrepreneurs, and high performers use coaches, mentors, or accountability partners. The key is to set deadlines and hold yourself responsible for results. If you don't create external accountability, you risk falling into the trap of endless excuses. Finally, execution is about developing a bias for action. High achievers don't overthink. They make decisions quickly and adjust as they go. They embrace failure as part of the process and understand that mistakes are learning opportunities, not reasons to stop. They are willing to look foolish, fail publicly, and face setbacks because they know that taking action, even imperfect action, is better than standing still. The fear of failure kills more dreams than failure itself. If you want to create your best self, you must train yourself to take action without hesitation. Starting today, commit to execution over perfection. If you have a goal, take the smallest possible step toward it right now. Stop waiting for motivation. Stop overanalyzing. Stop making excuses. The fastest way to get unstuck is to start moving. When you develop the habit of action, everything in your life changes. You will become more confident, more disciplined, and more successful, not because you had the perfect plan, but because you dared to take the first step. My friends, we've covered an incredible amount of ground. We've started with the invisible, reprogramming your mind, and moved to the visible by mastering your time and energy and building bulletproof habits. You are learning the art of self-leadership and the power of the law of averages, and you have committed to execution over perfection. But now we must talk about the one force that has held more people back than any other, the fear of failure. Failure is one of the greatest fears that hold people back from reaching their full potential. The fear of making mistakes, of looking foolish, or of falling short of expectations keeps many trapped in inaction. They stay in their comfort zone because the risk of failure feels too great. But the truth is, my friends, failure is not something to be avoided. It is something to be leveraged. Every successful person without exception has failed more times than the average person has even tried. The difference is in how they respond to setbacks. Those who achieve greatness do not see failure as the end. They see it as a necessary step toward success. If you learn to use failure as fuel instead of an excuse to quit, you will unlock a level of resilience that makes you unstoppable. The first step in overcoming setbacks is changing your perspective on failure. Most people take failure personally. They see it as proof that they are not good enough, smart enough, or capable enough. They internalize it and let it define them. But failure is never a reflection of your worth. It is simply feedback. Every time you fail, you gain valuable data on what doesn't work, what needs to be improved, and what adjustments must be made. The most successful individuals actively seek out failure because they understand that each failed attempt brings them one step closer to the right solution. The only real failure is giving up too soon. Everything else is just part of the process. Think of it like a scientist in a lab. If an experiment doesn't work, the scientist doesn't give up and say, "I'm a failure."
No.
They analyze the results, they make a note of what didn't work, and they run the experiment again with a slight adjustment. They understand that failure is not a verdict, it's a piece of information. We must become scientists of our own lives. We must be so committed to the end result that we are willing to endure the short-term discomfort of failure. One of the biggest reasons people struggle with failure is that they are too emotionally attached to outcomes. They define success as achieving a specific result, and anything less feels like a loss. But true progress is not about reaching a fixed destination. It is about learning, growing, and improving with each step. If you focus only on results, every setback will feel like a defeat. But if you shift your mindset to see growth as the real success, you will never be discouraged by failure again. Instead of asking, "Did I succeed?" ask, "Did I learn? Did I grow? Did I show up and try?" If the answer is yes, then you are winning regardless of the outcome. This mindset shift is what separates the elite from the average. High achievers are not immune to failure. They have simply built the ability to bounce back faster than others. They do not waste time complaining or feeling sorry for themselves. They analyze, adapt, and take the next step forward. Another key to overcoming setbacks is developing emotional resilience. When things don't go as planned, the natural response is frustration, disappointment, or even self-doubt. But dwelling on negative emotions does nothing to move you forward. Instead, train yourself to respond rationally, not emotionally. When faced with a setback, take a step back and ask, what can I learn from this? How can I adjust and improve? This is a powerful act of self-leadership. You are telling your emotions, I hear you, but you are not in charge. My purpose is in charge. Think about the boxer who gets knocked down. The crowd is roaring, the lights are blinding, and every part of their body is screaming to stay on the canvas. But the champion doesn't listen to the noise. They get up. Why? Because they know that a knockout is only final if they stay down. They have trained their mind to see the moment of failure not as a verdict, but as a temporary state. They use the pain as fuel. They use the failure as a lesson. That is the power of resilience. Life will test you. You will face rejection, criticism, and setbacks. The question is not whether you will encounter challenges. The question is how you will respond. Will you let difficulties break you, or will you use them to become stronger? The people who accomplish extraordinary things in life are not the ones who had an easy path. They are the ones who kept going when everything seemed to be against them. They used every failure as fuel, every rejection as motivation. Every obstacle is proof that they were getting closer to their breakthrough. The key to resilience is realizing that pain is temporary, but quitting is permanent. Every difficulty you face is shaping you into a stronger, wiser, and more capable version of yourself. So starting today, reframe your failures as stepping stones. Track your progress. Study your patterns. And improve your ratio through repetition. The only real failure is quitting too soon. If you truly understood that every rejection brings you closer to success, would you let failure stop you, or would you keep pushing forward, knowing that success is inevitable? If you stay in the game long enough, the answer to that question will determine the life you create. My friends, we have covered an incredible amount of ground. We have learned to reprogram our minds and build a new identity to lead ourselves from within, and to understand that success is a numbers game governed by the law of averages. You've committed to designing your environment, mastering your time and energy, building bulletproof habits, and executing on your vision. You have even learned to overcome setbacks by using failure as fuel. But now we must talk about the final piece of the puzzle, the one that determines not just what you accomplish, but how the world responds to you. I'm talking about confidence and charisma. Most people assume that confidence is something you are born with. They look at charismatic individuals and believe they were just naturally gifted with self-assurance and an unexplainable magnetism. But this is a dangerous and limiting assumption. The truth is, my friends, confidence is not a gift. It is a skill that you build. It is a muscle that you train. The same applies to charisma. It is not an innate trait. It is a learned behavior. If you want to create your best self-mastering confidence, and charisma is essential because how you see yourself determines how the world sees you. When you project certainty, people respect and trust you. When you doubt yourself, others will too. The biggest mistake people make when trying to develop confidence is waiting until they feel ready. They believe that once they have more success, more experience, or better circumstances, then they will finally be confident. But this approach is completely backward. Confidence does not come before action. It comes from action. The only way to become confident in anything is to do it repeatedly until you prove to yourself that you are capable. Think about the first time you tried something new, driving a car, giving a presentation, or speaking in public. It felt uncomfortable, clumsy, and terrifying. The second time felt slightly better. By the 10th or 20th time, it started to feel natural. By the 100th time, it felt effortless. This is the action confidence loop. The more you do something, the more familiar it becomes. The more familiar it becomes, the more competence you build. And confidence is nothing more than the result of competence. So, if you want to be more confident, stop waiting. Start doing. Do the thing that scares you. Do it imperfectly. Do it repeatedly. Every single time you step outside your comfort zone and take action, you are training your brain and your character to be more confident. Another powerful way to build confidence is to change the way you speak to yourself. Most people have an inner voice that constantly criticizes them, reinforcing self-doubt. They think thoughts like, I'm not good enough, I always mess things up, or I don't deserve success. But the words you tell yourself become your reality. If you repeatedly feed your mind negative thoughts, your brain will accept them as truth. The most successful and confident individuals train their inner voice to work for them, not against them. Instead of thinking, I can't do this, they tell themselves, I am learning how to do this. Instead of, I always fail, they say, every setback is making me stronger. Shifting your self-talk from doubt to empowerment is one of the fastest ways to rewire your confidence levels. Your body language is equally powerful. Your posture, eye contact, and the way you carry yourself send powerful signals to your brain and to others around you. Studies show that standing tall, maintaining strong posture, and making deliberate movements instantly boost feelings of confidence. People who slouch and avoid eye contact communicate insecurity both to themselves and to those they interact with. If you want to feel more confident, start by adjusting your body language. Stand up straight, keep your chin up, and take up space. When you walk into a room, do it with presence as if you belong there. Now, let's talk about charisma. Many believe that charismatic people have an unexplainable magnetism, but in reality, charisma is built on specific behaviors that can be developed. The foundation of charisma is genuine presence, the ability to make others feel heard, valued, and understood. One of the biggest mistakes people make in social interactions is thinking too much about themselves, what they should say next, how they are being perceived, or whether they are making a good impression. But true charisma is not about focusing on yourself. It's about fully engaging with others. When you listen deeply, maintain strong eye contact, and show real interest in people, they will naturally be drawn to you. Another key to charisma is learning how to communicate with certainty. People are naturally attracted to those who express themselves with confidence. If you speak hesitantly or constantly seek approval, others will feel the same uncertainty. But when you own your words and express yourself unapologetically, people take notice. This doesn't mean being arrogant or dominating conversations. It means trusting your voice and expressing your thoughts with conviction, even if you are unsure about something. Both confidence and charisma are strengthened by stepping outside your comfort zone regularly. If you avoid social situations or challenging conversations, you reinforce the idea that you are not capable. But if you push yourself to engage more and take small social risks, you train your brain to handle pressure. Over time, what once felt intimidating becomes second nature. Every time you stretch your comfort zone, you expand your confidence. The key to lasting confidence and charisma is consistency. Small daily actions, improving your self-talk, adjusting your posture, making eye contact, and speaking with clarity add up over time. Confidence is built through repetition, not through a single event. You must train it like a muscle. Becoming your best self requires not just developing skills and habits, but also projecting confidence and charisma into the world. When you believe in yourself, others believe in you. When you carry yourself with certainty, people are drawn to you. The way you show up determines the opportunities, relationships, and experiences that come your way. Confidence and charisma are not traits reserved for the lucky few. They are skills that anyone, including you, can develop. And when you do, you won't just change how you see yourself. You will change how the world sees you. My friends, we have covered an incredible amount of ground. We have learned to reprogram our minds and build a new identity to lead ourselves from within, and to understand that success is a numbers game governed by the law of averages. You've committed to designing your environment, mastering your time and energy, building bulletproof habits, and executing on your vision. You have even learned to overcome setbacks by using failure as fuel and to develop confidence and charisma. But now we must talk about the final, most profound truth of all. the one that separates a short-term success story from a life of enduring greatness. I'm talking about the mindset of being unstoppable. Becoming your best self is not about achieving perfection. It is about constant evolution. The greatest mistake people make in personal development is believing that transformation has a final destination. They think that once they reach a certain level of success, confidence, or discipline, their journey is complete. They sit back and admire their work, not realizing that the moment they stop growing, they start dying. But the truth is, personal growth is a lifelong process. The most successful, fulfilled, and powerful individuals are those who commit to continuous self-improvement, not for a few months, not for a year, but for a lifetime. If you truly want to become unstoppable, you must embrace the mindset that growth never ends. The secret to lasting success is momentum. Most people start strong, but lose motivation when progress slows down. They work hard in the beginning, but when results don't come as fast as they expect, they quit. What they fail to realize is that success works like a snowball rolling downhill. In the early stages, the progress feels slow, almost insignificant. The snowball is tiny. But as you keep going, as you keep pushing, your efforts compound and suddenly breakthroughs begin to happen. The snowball starts to pick up speed and size exponentially. The people who succeed are not the ones who never struggle. They are the ones who push through when things get difficult. They understand that greatness is built in the moments when no one is watching, when there is no immediate reward, when every part of them wants to stop, but they choose to keep going anyway. This is the power of a disciplined life. It is the ability to show up for yourself even when the emotional return is zero. One of the key traits of unstoppable people is the ability to adapt. No matter how well you plan, life will throw unexpected challenges your way. Things will not always go according to your vision. If you rely on rigid strategies or expect everything to unfold perfectly, you will become frustrated and discouraged. The strongest individuals are not those who resist change, but those who embrace it. They see obstacles as opportunities, failures as lessons, and setbacks as redirections. Instead of getting stuck in the past or feeling paralyzed by uncertainty, they adjust their approach and move forward. The ability to pivot when necessary is what keeps you ahead in an ever-changing world. Unstoppable people also understand the power of resilience. Life will test you. You will face rejection, criticism, and setbacks. The question is not whether you will encounter challenges. The question is how you will respond. Will you let difficulties break you, or will you use them to become stronger? The people who accomplish extraordinary things in life are not the ones who had an easy path. They are the ones who kept going when everything seemed to be against them. They used every failure as fuel, every rejection as motivation, and every obstacle as proof that they were getting closer to their breakthrough. The key to resilience is realizing that pain is temporary, but quitting is permanent. Every difficulty you face is shaping you into a stronger, wiser, and more capable version of yourself. The final element of becoming unstoppable is developing an unshakable belief in yourself. Most people seek validation from others. They wait for permission to pursue their goals. They let external opinions shape their self-worth. But truly powerful individuals do not need approval. They know their value, trust their instincts, and have full confidence in their abilities. They do not waste time doubting themselves because they understand that belief is a choice. The moment you decide to fully believe in yourself, everything changes. Opportunities start to appear. People start to respect you. Success becomes inevitable. Self-doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will, and the only way to rise above it is to make a firm decision that you are capable, worthy, and destined for greatness. The final transformation into your best self does not happen in a single moment. It is a continuous commitment to excellence. It is waking up every day and choosing growth over comfort. It is making decisions based on who you want to become, not based on how you feel in the moment. It is training your mind to be resilient, your body to be strong, and your spirit to be unbreakable. If you apply everything you have learned in this journey, you will become someone that others admire, not because of what you have, but because of who you are. You are capable of more than you can imagine. You have everything within you to create an extraordinary life, but the choice is yours. Will you step up and take full control of your destiny, or will you stay trapped in the patterns of hesitation and self-doubt? The answer will determine the life you create. You are no longer the person you were when you started this journey. You have the tools, the mindset, and the knowledge. Now is time to act. No more waiting. No more excuses. Become the unstoppable force you were meant to be. My friends, we have reached the end of our journey. We have stood at the genesis of your future, and we have walked through the 10 timeless fundamentals that separate a life of chance from a life of design. We began with the invisible work of the mind. You have learned to reprogram your mind, understanding that your identity is not fixed, but a choice you make every single day. You have committed to a new self-image, and you now know that every action you take is either a vote for who you are or who you want to become. Then we ascended to the art of self-leadership, recognizing that the greatest leader you will ever follow is yourself. You are no longer waiting for external motivation or a savior. You are the architect of your own character, and you are building a life based on non-negotiable standards and unwavering self-trust. We then demystified the very mechanics of success itself with the law of averages. We tore down the myth that success is a matter of luck and replaced it with the truth that it is a numbers game. Understand that every no is just a data point. Every setback is just a step, and every failure is simply feedback that brings you closer to your breakthrough. From there, we took control of our surroundings. You have committed to designing your environment for success, understanding that the people you associate with and the spaces you inhabit are shaping your destiny. You are no longer a product of your circumstances. You are a product of your conscious choices. And we went on to master the two most precious currencies in existence, time and energy. You have learned to stop being busy and start being productive, to say no to distractions, and to align your efforts with your natural energy cycles. You now know that to master your life, you must first master your time and energy. We then spoke of the power of the small. You have committed to building bulletproof habits, understanding that lasting transformation comes not from a single breakthrough, but from the compound effect of small daily actions. You are no longer trying to change your life overnight. You are building a future one tiny habit at a time. Next, we confronted the final barrier to progress in action. You have embraced the art of execution, choosing to take imperfect action over perfect inaction. Know that an idea is worthless without the courage to act on it, and that the fastest way to get unstuck is to start moving. We then came to the core of resilience itself, overcoming setbacks. You have learned that failure is not the end of your story, but a necessary plot twist. You are now equipped to use every setback as fuel, every obstacle as a lesson, and every difficulty as a testament to your unwavering commitment. Finally, we explored the outward expression of all this internal work with the psychology of confidence and charisma. You have learned that confidence is not a feeling to be waited for, but a skill to be built through action. You are now a person who projects certainty into the world, who trusts their voice, and who understands that how you see yourself determines how the world sees you. My friends, what I've shared with you today is not just a collection of ideas. It is a roadmap. It is a blueprint. It is a guide to designing a life of intentionality and purpose. But a roadmap in and of itself is useless unless you decide to get in the car and start driving. You have the tools. You have the mindset. You have the knowledge. The only thing left is for you to begin. I want you to understand something deeply and profoundly. You are not defined by your past. You are not defined by your mistakes. You are not defined by the limitations others have placed on you. You are defined by what you choose to do next. Right now, in this moment, you have the power to step into a higher version of yourself. You have the power to rewrite your story and to take full ownership of your future. The journey to becoming your best self is not just about changing a few habits or setting new goals. It is about transforming who you are at the core. It is about building a life of significance, of discipline, and of meaning. And this transformation, this evolution, is a choice that you must make every single day. So let's make this real. Today, right now, take out that journal you started. Look at your new identity statement. Read it. See it. And choose one small daily action you will commit to starting today. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Today. And as you begin and as you continue, remember this: your best self is not something you find. It is something you create. The world is full of people with big dreams but no action. They are full of hopeful whispers and vague wishes. But you, my friend, you are now a person of clarity, of courage, of preparation, and of purpose. The world is waiting for you to declare your intentions. Your family is waiting for you to become the leader you were meant to be. Your future self is waiting for you to make the choices today that they will be grateful for tomorrow. Getting what you want isn't about chance. It's about choice. And now that you know the steps, the only thing left is for you to take them. So let's make a final commitment. If you are ready to stop making excuses and start creating, if you are ready to become the unstoppable force you were meant to be, then I have one final simple request for you. First, subscribe to this channel. Join our community of intentional doers and disciplined thinkers. Second, if you found this message meaningful, hit the like button and share this video with one person you know needs to hear this message. Because the journey of self-mastery is best traveled with others. And finally, leave a comment below and let me know which of the 10 fundamentals you're going to focus on first. Your commitment today will be a beacon for others. Thank you for listening. Your best self is waiting. Go get it.